Hey, what's happening? This is your host Tinto, and before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to two feelers that got me coffees. Starting with you, Miranda Mwetsabi. Yeah, it was good catching up the other day, by the way. And you got me 5 generous coffees, and your comment there reads, "Everything has been said already. Keep dreaming, keep doing. You know what to do." Appreciate you, man. Melanated Laura, thank you once again. Coming through with 3 solid coffees, and your comment there reads, "Should we protest for Vintage 24 episode to be released?" Now, feelers, you've done well. Thank you for the support. And yes, Vintage 24 episode is now here. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar manner, and your support goes a long way, by the way, head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. And with that out of the way, if you're new to the podcast, I strongly recommend that you head back to episode 169. Because that is the precursor to the episode you're just about to listen to. That episode is called Vintage Sexual Discovery. I spoke to Ntandokazi, who's the lady, and then in this episode I got to speak with the gent. So this is Vintage Sexual Discovery with Vintage 24.
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here.
On the Feeling Station.
Ooh, what up, brother?
Yeah, it sounds better.
Oh man, it sounds like gold. How you doing, champ?
Easy, man. How you been?
Doing good, man. You know, I normally would give a whole spill about what the podcast is about, etc., but because of the way that we've connected and the time we have, I'll skip on a few formalities, right? But just give you a sense of why this podcast is really popular. The first reason is I try and do my best to keep people anonymous, okay?
All right.
So, the person we are talking about is you and a lady who we've spoken about offline. I'm not going to give her real name because that's part of the beauty of the podcast.
Yeah.
The name that she has is Ntandokazi.
Okay.
Which might be a mouthful. Do you want to shorten that to anything?
Maybe.
Well, she deliberately said not that one.
She said not that one.
Yeah, she deliberately said not that one. So, and then for consistency, because people who've listened know her as Ntandokazi, we would have to keep it as Ntandokazi. But
so
yeah,
right.
So you can either shorten that to Ntando or Kazi, whatever you want, or just say Ntandokazi.
Yeah, Ntando is fine.
Fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and then you were called Vintage 24.
Vintage 24.
Yeah, Vintage 24. So so I'm gonna relate to you as Vintage 24. That's the name that I was given. That's the name we're gonna stick to, right? So that's one reason why this podcast is really great, because people feel like they can speak openly because they're anonymous in quotes. Mm-hmm. And the second reason why the podcast is also very, very popular is there are real life lessons that people learn from the stuff that we're going to talk about as gents.
Yeah.
So now when you think about your situation with Ntandokazi, how you guys met, how you guys progressed, and where you are today, what would you like anybody listening to this episode to go away with? It could be 1 or 2 things, it doesn't matter, but at least one. What would you like someone to go away with?
Well, firstly, in conclusion, I think one thing that I've taken from it is that life is for the living, bro.
Life is for the living, yeah?
Life is for the living. Life is for the living. I've come to a point where I'm okay with living for the now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think maybe it's a post-COVID thing or whatever, but I feel like life is for the living and live for the now, man. Don't think too much about the future.
Yeah,
fine. You need to consider other people as well. But always put yourself first, man, because if you don't put yourself first, then nobody else is going to do that for you.
Nice. Do you have any other lessons? Someone should walk away with?
I think I'll add on as we go.
Fine. So your name is Vintage 24 and life is for the living, live for the now, and then always put yourself first.
Always put yourself first, man.
So I think I really want to kick this off in a non-conventional way, because when I finished recording the episode with Ntandokazi, you guys were still really bubbly and doing great. So my first initial question before I dig into the backstory is, are you guys still together?
No.
Oh.
No, we're not.
Yikes. Okay, so I'm going to park that right there, and then we're going to come back to all of this.
Okay.
It was interesting how she described how you guys got together. Do you remember where you guys met and why you decided, oh, I really want to try this with Ntandokazi?
Yeah, well, first thing, let me just dive into that, how it happened.
Yeah.
So it was actually crazy how it happened. It was at a local club, a popping one actually.
It was a popping club, yeah?
Was a popping club, a definite popping club. So I was there with the boys. I think it was like a type of farewell because I was leaving for about a couple of months to go. Let's say on a vacation. Let's just say on a vacation.
Yeah.
I was leaving to go on a vacation for a couple of months, and she was gonna be away as well. So I went to the club with the boys.
Yeah.
We got there. Normal routine, bottles on the table.
Yeah.
Were they having fun? No girls. At this point, there were no girls. I didn't have no girl with me that night. Cool. I'm there vibing. I always have a good time in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing. I always have a good time in the club. And I'm always drunk. People who know that I'm always drunk. I'm always drunk.
Right.
So yeah, I'm having a good time. Then I noticed her because she was sort of a friend of a friend. So she was sitting at the table that we were then at. And then, yeah, I said hi. And then at the end of the day, I continued on with my groove.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mind my dogs. Don't mind my dogs.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I continued on with groove. Cool. I'm there with groove. And then at some point, I got there, and then as I was about to refill my cup, she was then like, "Okay, can you please refill for me as well?" And I was like, "Okay, fine. Is it okay with you if I use my fingers to, put ice in your cup?" And I always remember the words that she used. The exact words she used were, "I like it from the source."
Okay.
In those exact words. So okay, fine. I'm not really a slow chap. I was like, okay, all right. I got that hint.
What was the hint? What was that hint?
Well, I like it from the source. Like you know how these women are, bro. Like when she hints you something, it's probably an open gate to another door. Basically.
You see, for me, I don't know if I'd be able to have read in between the lines what she meant when she said, "I like it from the source." Because I'll be thinking, yo, man, I don't even know where this ice came from, Vic Falls. Wait, no, it came from Kariba.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. In that aspect, I get you.
So for you, how were you able to read in between the lines like that?
Well, the setting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess it's within the setting as well, because, when you're out, you're more inclined to think about someone trying to, make a move on you other than anything else. Yeah. So cool. I took it as that. I kept my calm. All right, fine. You like it from the source. Cool. I put ice in her cup. And then I gave her the cup. She drank, etc. A couple of minutes down the line, she asked me to take her to her car because apparently she had heels on. They were now becoming, I don't know, she became irritant.
Yeah.
And she wanted to change. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me take you to the car. And she was new to this place, by the way. It was the first time being there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it was that male instinct that kind of kicked in. Like, okay, let me just take this girl through or whatever. You never know what could happen. Because there's a lot of vultures, and I'm not one of the vultures, just to make it clear. I'm not a vulture. And her being a friend of a friend, I was just like, nah, let me just kind of like, take care of her in a way. So cool. When I was taking her to the car, I don't know if it was the drinks or what, but I found myself holding her hand.
You found yourself holding a hand?
Yeah, but that was to, maneuver through the crowd because it was a packed club. Remember, I said it was popping. It was a packed club. So I held her hand so as to maneuver through the crowds. We got to the car. She changed her shoes. We came back, still holding hands, by the way. We came back. We sat. We didn't talk. We didn't talk much. All right, cool. After that, it was now time to go home. Like, people were dispersing now. My boys were going, and her people were going as well. So she didn't want to go. Apparently, she still wanted the club. So she was like, she then, I don't know if it was her own decision or what, but she decided to stay with me. On what basis, I don't know, because literally we met that night.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know. It was like, okay, cool. You want to stay with me? No problem. I don't mind. Because I had my own plans as well. The boys had gone and her people had gone. She had even been offered, like, okay, if you want to skip clubs or you want to try another biz club, we can go.
Yeah.
But still, she was like, nah, it's cool. I'll stay with you behind. So I took that as another hint as well. We stayed for a couple of minutes. And then I guess the boy decided to cash in on that hint.
Oh, okay.
The boy decided to cash in on the hint. And then we decided to leave the club.
Where did y'all go?
She followed me. She didn't know roads.
Oh, yeah.
She followed me. We went to the closest gas station. I poured gas for her. And then I noticed she was drunk. When I noticed she was drunk, and I was like, okay, do you know how to get home? She had no idea. She didn't know road.
Yeah.
Me being on the first night, I had no idea where she stayed, obviously. She had no idea how to get home. So obviously the next best thing I was going to do was to find her somewhere to stay. So I went ahead and did that. When we got to the place, one thing led to another.
Right.
Yeah, your chuckle tells me you know exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those say less type of things.
Exactly.
This place that you found, was it a hotel, an Airbnb, a lodge? What kind of place was it?
It was like an Airbnb type.
Yeah.
It was like an Airbnb type. So cool. We got there. One thing led to another. Fine. Next thing, I'm there. And by the way, during this time, I was high as shit. So me being high as shit, my performance was weak as hell. That's another thing I need to point out. My performance was weak as hell. My performance was shit. So cool. You know, it was weak to the point that I even did a light session.
A light session? What does that mean?
A light session, like I even did like the whole press-ups, squats, and, you know, type shit just to get my blood. I swear, on my life.
You did all of this, what? To get your body pumped up? I did all of
this just to get my blood running. Hoping for a bit of stiffy, obviously. Yeah, I know. It's funny. So this day, when I look back at it, yeah, it's funny as well.
Okay.
So cool. All right, fine. The light session worked. After the light session, I then took a cold shower, you know.
Yeah.
So probably wake the body up. Cool. I won. The performance was okay, but it was substandard.
Yeah.
It was substandard. Next morning we woke up. Okay. Do you know how to get home now? Yeah, I think I can make my way now. I think she was level-headed by then. So I was then like, from embarrassment as well. I was then like, bro, just go home. You know? Take the L and go home.
Embarrassment on whose part? On your part?
Yeah, on my part.
What were you embarrassed about? About the performance?
Obviously, the performance was bad.
Okay.
It was substandard.
Right.
So I was just like, nah, take the L and go home.
Mm.
So obviously, for someone I'd spent the night with, I took her number
Mm.
and I went home. She did the same. And I think after that, there was a week in between. And during that week, that's when we began talking.
All right. Okay.
That's when we began talking. Like I'd frequently call, maybe like twice a day, and texting as well. Then the next weekend.
But what was it about her that kept you intrigued to want to call her twice a day, etc., etc.?
I don't know if it was because she made the first move or what, but I mean, she's a fine woman, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for one, am not really moved by fine women because I think I'm more attracted to the mental more than the physical.
Right.
Even though the physical is a significant bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not lie. The physical is a significant bonus.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it was mainly driven by the fact that she made the first move.
Right.
So I was more intrigued to kind of prove myself more so because of the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think she noticed that the performance was subpar? Or that was just in your head?
Did.
Oh, she did?
She did. Because we then talked about it. We then talked about it afterwards.
What did she say?
After having proved myself on the second coming.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So after the week, I then came back from vacation in quotes. I came back, and the first thing I did, obviously, was to look for her. And she was at some party, and this is where, am I supposed to speak of how the name Vintage 24 came about?
I mean, that's entirely up to you. You can. This is your story. You can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of into vintage cars.
Uh-huh.
Not even kind of. I'm really into vintage cars.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, I had 3 vintage cars that I used to, move around with.
Yeah.
So she got to know of those cars.
Mm.
And she liked all 3 of them. They're really
nice.
built up cars.
Yeah.
They're really built up cars. And she got to like all 3 of them. So Vintage 24 is basically that. I was someone that really was into vintage cars.
Mm.
And the 24 is just a figure.
Right.
It was just a figure. Like, let's not get into what figure it is about, but it was just a figure. It was just a figure.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how the name came about.
Mm-hmm.
And on the second coming, that's when I then proved myself.
How did you guys arrange the second coming? What? How did that come about?
The second coming was more of it was more of me kind of actually bringing it to her. Like, I need to prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually said it in those words, like, I need to redeem myself, because I feel like the first time we met is not actually what it is. There was, a bunch of shit going on. I didn't actually get into detail, but yeah.
Mm.
So I think with the whole week that we were talking, she then reconsidered my offer and redeeming myself. Hence me coming down again.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, damn, it was downhill from there. Yeah, it was downhill, shame. I redeemed myself, and I think I did a little too much.
You did a little too much? What does that mean?
Yeah, I did a little too much, because then it wasn't, it then became even more than we both anticipated in the end, rather. But I feel like it really stemmed from that second coming.
Yeah.
Because that's what really started everything else.
So when you describe it and say that it became more than you anticipated it to be, had you guys sat down and discussed what it should have been in the first place? Because to me, looking from the outside in, this feels like a go with the flow kind of situation.
It was a go with the flow, but apart from it being a go with the flow, she knew. Sorry, I'd rather been honest. I had someone with me at the time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I had someone with me at the time.
Did she know this before you guys did your thing, or?
Yeah, I was honest about it.
From day one, like that first night when you went from the club to.
You see, my recollection doesn't serve me too well, but I know during the very preliminary stages of everything, I was pretty honest about it. I was pretty honest about where I was, and she knew that I had someone.
How serious was it with this person you were with?
Very.
So how is it that you stepped out so easily?
Hey, I don't know, man. Sometimes you can't explain it. I guess this is when we bring back the living for the now aspect. Yeah, living for the now.
So in that moment, you basically felt like, okay, hey, I'm feeling a type of way. She's feeling a type of way.
Yeah,
let's get this on.
Let's just do it, bro.
Okay, so now that you did it, you kind of had a window. I know you were concerned about poor performance, but you had a window at that point to kind of take a step back and say, hey, listen, I'm with someone serious.
Yeah.
This happened as a in the now moment. Let me leave it alone. But that wasn't the case. So the second coming, as you're calling it, sounds more premeditated and more planned.
Exactly. That was really premeditated. And like I said before, more so because I felt like I had to redeem myself. Because, it then became a thing of ego as well. Like, I can't have this woman out in the world thinking this guy was really a flop type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it then became a thing of ego.
But did it matter what you thought? Because you got someone serious who knows what really matters.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but hey, man, living for now. Life is for the living. Life is for the living. So after the second coming, yeah, it then became intense. I'd come down quite often, and besides coming down quite often, we'd spend time together. It was crazy because she was really not picky. Hey, like I'm an all-weather kind of guy.
What does that mean?
What I mean by that is that you can put me in any kind of situation, any place rather, be it the trenches or be it an all-white party, a tux party or whatever. I would fit in. And she was cool with everything. So I kind of felt like she matched my energy in a way.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's also what kind of drove me to, kind of give it more attention because, hey, you never know, man. What if you're blocking your soulmate? Just on the basis that you're with someone.
You see, there's always that risk, but then by the time it sounds to me like you're very serious with this girl, and for some guys, at that point that you determine that that's somebody serious, it doesn't matter what other potential there is out there because you've now mentally made that commitment to say this is the one. So I would have assumed that may have been the case, unless you meeting Ntando has made you question that.
Meeting Ntando kind of shook me a bit, but then again, I'm still pretty young, so
yeah.
I understand that I was being serious with this particular girl, but then again, it didn't give room for me to completely close off any consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still left a tiny window just to make sure my soulmate finds a way in.
Yeah, yeah.
If she was to make her way.
Out of curiosity, when you told Ntando Kazi that you were with someone serious, what was her response?
She didn't mind at first.
At first?
Yeah, at first she didn't mind. Because then to her, She was someone who didn't. She wasn't really frequent in my area, so it wasn't really a big issue for her. Because with time, it was more about when when she's in my area, she knows she's got someone type of thing. So me being with someone, it was more like, well, from her perspective, from what I understood, she was like, it's better for you to have someone, and for me to know that you have someone, rather than for me to know that you're roaming the streets.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
She claimed it was safer.
How did that make you feel hearing that?
Like a big dog. I felt like a big dog. I'm not even gonna lie. It really boosted my ego.
Yeah.
Because then it's not every day you come across a woman that will fold like that. Yeah, because most of them, once you tell them that you've got someone, that's the end of it.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. That's the end of it. But in this case, she was cool with it at first.
At first, yeah. This is the second time that you said at first. It makes me feel like something. It makes me feel like something along the way changed. We will get to that, and I've made a note to come back to that. But now you've had the second coming, and now you've got the more regular meetups. Out of curiosity, what were you telling your woman every time you were meeting Ntandokazi?
Well, I'm not really someone who. I'm not really a homebody, rather.
Right.
I'm always out and about. So, being a guy as well, you can always come up with a lie.
Hey, man.
You can always come up with a lie. Sorry, I need to say it like this, but you can always come up with a lie. Yeah, because then, in fact, sometimes I'd actually tell her that I'm with friends, but friends was this one particular person.
Right.
So I wasn't actually lying, but I wasn't really telling the full truth.
You were kind of in between.
Yeah, I was kind of in between.
So these regular meetings are now, happening with Ntandokazi. I'm assuming you're having more sex. Did at any point any one of you ask, so what is this? Because that's what normal go with the flow situations kind of turn out to be.
Yeah, it got to that. It got to a point where one of us asked what it was.
Who asked?
She did. She did. And I kind of just stood on my initial position that I had someone. So it wasn't really going to amount to anything, because then I had someone that I was serious with. Serious in quotes now, because it seems a bit questionable when you're,
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
tangled and all of that. Yeah. So I just kind of stood there and, stood on my initial position that I was serious with this. But then it kind of just led us to continue digging the hole deeper, because then it led to phone conversations, like long hour phone conversations. Like we'd be on the phone for 4 hours, and at this particular time, I'd have my person with me. So I remember I'd actually go to a friend's house during the times that I knew that I wanted to cool. And she'd even know about it. She'd even know, like, every single detail she knew. So she'd even know that I'm at my boy's house because I need to call her. And I'd be there for hours. And then after that, at some point, I got caught, obviously.
You got caught by your serious girlfriend?
Yeah, I got caught by my serious girlfriend.
How did you get caught?
The hole was a bit deeper. You see, when these, when you cross these boundaries, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
Like you can't if someone is comfortable calling you at any time they feel,
Yeah.
you can't all of a sudden then just call it off unless you're really stepping back.
Cool. How did you get caught?
How did I get caught?
Yeah.
So the calls.
Mm.
So there were times that I didn't forget to kind of notify her that, I'm with my person, because, sometimes your person just rocks up.
Right.
When you're not expecting it, unscheduled.
Now, you say you forgot to tell her, so you'd always tell her that my person is coming, so don't call me.
Sometimes. At times I tell her, like, okay, I'm going home now. Or I'm going to be with her in a couple of minutes. Or I'm with her right now. So yeah, that would kind of, stop her from calling. But then there were times that I didn't forget. Or maybe, I don't know if it was intentional or what. Or there were times that she would then just call.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get this is kind of, sniffed it out. And obviously at the time it was kind of innocent. I was playing innocent. So it was saved in an actual name, like Ntandokazi, And of course, her seeing the name Ntandokazi, she then knew, like, okay, this is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Ask those questions, like, when you're unprepared. It's the reaction that usually sells.
What question would she typically ask you that got you caught out? You seem a bit hesitant to talk about getting caught out.
It's a simple
what did she ask you?
Who is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who is that? Oh, no, it's just a friend. Friend from where? I know all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need to explain how you met this friend. And at this point, I'm probably high as shit. So my mind is not in the space to create a lie fast enough to tell this woman.
Mm.
So in the end, I end up just telling the truth. Like, now we met through a couple of friends, so and so. We met through a couple of friends, so and so. And then, yeah, women being women, I just simply said she was a friend. I simply said she was a friend. And of course, because this woman was pretty integrated in my life, she knew most of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most of the important ones she knew. Personally, not even just from me telling her, but personally. So she kind of got the whiff that this friend
is an anomaly.
Yeah, this is an anomaly. It's not it's not a real thing. So fine, first call, first strike. First strike was fine. Second strike.
How did you get past that first strike, by the way?
Bro, you just brush it aside.
You or she brushed it aside?
I did. I brushed it aside. Because I wasn't really, like, one to move mad. So it was really easy to brush aside. Unless, it's not like someone who moves mad, where you would drive someone crazy because she's seen a call from an anonymous girl. Yeah, I wasn't that type of guy. I used to move correct most of the times.
The thing is, you're the one who's been caught. And it doesn't feel natural that you'd be the one to brush something aside. If I was to catch my girl cheating, I'd be the one deciding that, okay, I'm going to brush this aside and give you another chance.
Yeah.
It sounds like it sounds like more like she's the one who brushed it aside and gave you another chance to prove yourself correct.
Yeah, she did. But then I did as well, because then, the questions never stop. Yeah, but it all depends on how you react to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It all depends on how you react to them. So that's kind of me brushing it aside, like, yo, come on. How about we stop talking about this? It's really nothing.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I escaped the first strike. And then the second strike was when Oh yeah, the second strike. The second strike. No, ish. That one was a bit serious.
What happened?
The second strike. I think she went through my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she used my phone to call. Apparently, they were what, like 2 missed calls from Tandokaz.
Mm-hmm.
And it being a familiar name, it obviously brought back the other issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I started to cook up the lies. I mean, they weren't lies as such, but they were lies to her.
What did you say?
In that, okay, let's be hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say
hypothetical. Why hypothetical when this is real?
Okay, should we get into detail?
Yeah, this is a real conversation.
All right. So Ntandokazi is by profession, right? Mm-hmm. So above everything else, most of our conversations weren't really about love. Mm-hmm. They were really about, life, talking about individual experiences, what she's been through, what I've been through.
Yeah.
Relating to both situations. And even like real-time issues as well. Mm-hmm. Like she could come to me with a problem and I'd be like, okay, how about you deal with it in such and such a manner? Yeah. Type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I then used. Like, look, this person is a and her being my serious person, she knew that I had a couple of issues because I've been having issues about, past traumas and etc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she knew about that. So that's kind of like the excuse that I used. Like, this person is kind of helping me, of which she was. She really was. But then I didn't disclose that there were extracurricular activities happening. So yeah, that kind of died down. But yeah, she didn't quite bite into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why she stuck by you after the second strike?
Because there was no evidence. I feel like with African women, it's more of when they say a man has cheated, it's more of a physical thing. Yeah, it's more of a physical thing than an emotional. Emotional doesn't really hold much ground, but physical, however, yeah, that is cheating.
Right.
Yeah, okay. To them, that is cheating.
So because there was no evidence of physical cheating, it was easier to let it go and keep continuing.
It was easier to let go.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So when the first and the second encounters happened, did you tell Ntandokazi that you have been busted?
I did. I did. And yeah, we kind of dialed it down for a couple of weeks.
At whose request to dial it down?
At mine. It was my request. Because I remember I was in love with this girl. It seems kind of stupid to say that, but yeah, I was
about to comment because love doesn't hurt. Or at least love is not meant to hurt.
That's our idea of love. Love does hurt. Love does hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I was in love with this girl. So it was upon my request, like, yo, bro, come on, let's die this shit down just a bit, because then, my woman is.
What was the purpose of dialing it down instead of stopping it altogether?
The connection. The connection was there now. Because this is someone I kind of opened up to. Remember, I'm not someone that just opens up, to just anybody. I don't really get along with people like that. So for me to really get into my business with someone, letting them know about what I'm about, what I've been too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a stretch. So yeah, the connection was there, and it was something that we both didn't want to stop.
Right. Because you're
We
enjoying
tried.
how it does make you feel mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, obviously, because it's kind of it's a relief,
Mm.
if when you kind of have someone to speak to in that kind of aspect, like no judgments, no nothing, with advice kind of popping out in there as well, you know.
What stopped you opening up like this to your serious girlfriend?
I guess it didn't stop me as such, but people treat things and relate to things differently.
Mm.
So I feel like because of Tandokazi's profession as well, also accompanied by what she has also been through individually and
Mm.
personally,
Mm.
we related more because we had more like situations than
Mm.
me and, me and my girl for time.
So you and Intandokazi are now starting to feel like, hey man, yeah. This is really going somewhere because she's paying attention to your past trauma and everything in between. How did things progress?
It just became more intense.
Mm.
Like I also kind of started, you know, familiarizing with her side of the family, and a bit of mine. She got accompanied to mine as well, accustomed to mine as well.
S- So you guys were
So
introducing each other to each other's families.
not as partners, by the way, but as
But as
friends.
what? As
As
friends.
friends. Yeah, as friends.
Okay. Why
Yeah.
weren't you introduced as someone more significant to her family? Do you know why?
She kind of had prior issues that were still fresh. So
Okay. Issues like what?
issues like divorce.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Mhm. So you know how it's like the judgment that kind of falls with that.
To say that you're introducing somebody new.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're kind of like fresh out of divorce.
Mm. And
Yeah,
then
it comes with some pretty foul judgment.
on your end, you obviously couldn't do this because your family knew the other serious girl, right?
Yeah, I couldn't do much of that. I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, when I was introducing her, it was, now this is my friend. And, you know, I do have female friends as well. So
Mm.
no one really paid much mind to it because it was just a friend,
Mm.
as he said.
What was the significance of you guys introducing each other to the families if it wasn't going anywhere?
See, there was no significance because then during most of the times that um, we introduced each other to families, it was mostly out of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Convenience to say, okay, if she's baby to, I don't know, rock up at a family function or something
Yeah.
where my serious call is not there, it's not going to be weird, type of thing.
Mm.
Or maybe if I'm to rock up by your gate and someone else pops up, it's not going to be weird for me, type of thing.
Right.
It was mainly out of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was convenient.
Do you think anybody on her side suspected you might have been more than just a friend?
In the end, the whole family.
In the end, the whole family.
Suspected.
How? What happened for that suspicion to come alive?
Ish. Damn.
I like how he just broke out into laughter like that. What the hell happened?
Yeah, so it kind of went down in the house. Shame.
What went down in the house?
Nah, the deed, it went down.
Okay, so you had sex in the house.
In the crib.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That doesn't describe how the family would have known that you're more than just friends.
It does.
Okay.
It does. And that, look, like you just came in with someone, right? Okay, cool. You're chilling for a bit. You guys go to Ntando's room, and you know this man jumps out later not even later, in the morning.
So you got there during the afternoon and then you left the next morning.
Yeah.
And they knew you were still in the house. It's not like you had stepped out and then snuck back in.
Nah, they knew I was still in the house.
What did they make you dinner and you had dinner and stuff?
Yeah, I had dinner.
Why'd you seem a bit embarrassed to talk about this? You give me half answers. Speak with your chest. You spoke with your chest about your first performance on the first night and how the second coming redeemed you. Speak with your chest, Vintage 24.
Jeez, this is a bit embarrassing, though.
Well, speak with your chest. Say it as it is. Mm.
Well, I mean, you never know what people heard, eh?
So you reckon people in the house heard that you guys were humping?
You never know. It can get a bit loud sometimes. Well, okay. To be honest, people will never really speak about it.
Right.
Yeah. But you can see from, how people begin to treat you, like, okay. There's a certain treatment that comes with a friend who's literally just a friend, and then a friend who's more than a friend.
So they started treating you like more than just a friend?
In a way, yes. In a way.
Mm.
Yeah. Because, some of the members would, some of the family members would bump into me sneaking out in the morning.
My nigga. You sold this as if it was a one-off incident, right? Where you just, went into the house on one particular day, you were given food.
It wasn't a once-off incident. It wasn't a once-off incident.
Right. So you'd bump into people as you're sneaking out, and they still wouldn't say anything.
They wouldn't. But then it's more like people know, but no one's going to say nothing.
So I'd be embarrassed to go back, especially after the first one, and maybe it was noisy.
Yeah.
Did you feel any of that?
I did. And I think I didn't go back for time. But then you see, that's the thing with these beers, man, with this alcohol. Bad decisions all the time. Bad decisions.
Yeah. Okay. So these escapades then happen. I'm guessing. Look, there's a lot of thrill and excitement in that. You guys are living on the edge.
Yeah.
You've opened up to her. The sex is fantastic. You seem to be digging a hole that is harder to get out of, and to get back to the surface where your real and serious girlfriend is.
Every single time.
So, what then changed?
In which aspect?
Because at the beginning of this conversation, you said that you guys don't even talk now anymore. You're not together anymore.
It was go with the flow gone too far. And then, apart from that, it was, okay, at this point, right, I'm no longer with my serious girl. So by you, I'm kind of like in a traumatic state, because then, I'm dealing with a lot of things. There's life, my own life, my personal life as well. And then there's my relationship as well. Both things weren't really doing so well at the time.
Mm.
So there was, in fact, things were actually not so bad with Chandokas.
Mm.
But then on one particular day,
Mm.
she said something, and from that day, that was it. That was it for me.
What did she say?
I can't get into the actual words, but
what did she insinuate?
She insinuated it. Okay, what she basically did was, to me, it was like a dagger.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a dagger, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
It really felt like a dagger. So I remember when she even sent that message. I was actually driving on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped. So I was on my phone, going through music and whatnot. So I saw the message pop up.
Mm.
I opened it, brushed through it. And out of shock, I was like, yo, hold on. Find somewhere to park, first of all.
Mm.
I read the message. I didn't even comment.
Mm.
All I said was, I'm sorry. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Like, after that, that was it. I was off. I was off it. Until now, still off it.
Why was that message so deep for you? I know you don't want to get into what the specific words for it. But why was it?
It was a dagger, bro. It was a dagger. Because, for someone, I just felt like for someone who I thought knew me,
Mm-hmm.
for her to say something like that after, because mind you, during this group chat as well, I kind of defended her.
Or you defended her versus your serious girlfriend?
Versus my serious girlfriend. How did I defend her? I defended her in the aspects where I was honest enough to tell my girlfriend that, no, this is what happened between me and this girl.
Right.
She's not crazy. This is what really happened between me and this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by I defended her. And, it then just started to run through my mind like, I risked my relationship with this serious girl that I was with because of you. And I thought that maybe, you understood me and you knew me, but clearly I'm moving in the wind. I'm just going with the flow. It's still just the flow. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
It was really a dagger. So I was just like, nah, you know what? Let me just dead this shit anyway. There's no harm in starting over.
Yikes. So you guys haven't spoken in a while, or?
No, we haven't. I mean, she did try to reach out, but yeah, I wasn't for it.
Well, they always say that hindsight is 20/20. When you now think, they say that hindsight is 20/20 vision, like it's crystal clear. Uh-huh. When you now look back and you look at what you described as someone who was attentive to you, gave you good sex, and you want to spend a whole lot more time with, and that doesn't end up being what you thought, does that make you think that maybe the serious relationship may have been a better deal? Because it sounds like you were there for a long time. She sounded like the more consistent one, who may have had a lot more to give.
If I'm being honest, I fucked shit up for myself. Sorry if I'm supposed to cuss or what, but
that's cool.
I messed things up for myself. Yeah. I should have just did it from, like you said, from the second coming. I wasn't supposed to do all that.
Yeah.
It was basically unnecessary because that's what led to everything else.
So where does your regret lie? With the serious one or Nthandakazi?
Damn. I think my regret lies more with the serious one. Yeah. That's where my regret lies more, because I think with Nthandakazi, I was very honest about most of the things. But with the serious one, I kind of then dented her ego and a lot of other things, which was rather unnecessary. Yeah. So that's where my regret lies most.
Is it the kind of situation where you would give her an apology?
It is.
So what has stopped you from doing that so far?
Apologies. No, I've been giving apologies. Damn.
Oh, you have?
Damn. Largely so.
And how's that going?
Not too well, but life moves on.
Ish.
Life goes on.
Yeah. Well, I guess on that front, saying that life goes on, just playing back your lesson, you say that life is for the living.
Exactly. Life is for the living.
Live for the now and always put yourself first. I really appreciate you taking time out of this. I know how busy your schedule has been. We've been trying to connect for over 8 weeks, and it just happened that by chance, today you had a little bit of time. So I'm grateful for this, and really wouldn't want to take much more than I already have. But
that's all good.
Yeah, no, thanks. I really, really, really appreciate this. And for those listening, you've been listening to another episode of The Feeling Station. I'm your host, Tinto, and I look forward to catching you in next weekend's episode.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chake Zaini.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis on Daru Raini and Chake Zaini.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziru amai.
Kujidziru amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziru amai.